Good evening, everyone. Hello. I haven't done a live in so long, and I wanted to hop on here. I'm actually, hi, hi. I'm currently on, hello, everyone. I'm on TikTok and I'm on YouTube. I just wanted to hop on here because it's been, oh my gosh, it's probably been months since I've done a live because our two show days at the office got canceled. So now, I don't know, I haven't done lives in a really long time, and this used to be a really great way for me to get to know all of you and answer any questions that you might have about this crazy industry. So hello, hi everyone, hi. What was your favorite musical? I love this question. It's a question that a lot of professional performers don't get to ask themselves anymore because we're always just thinking about the next project that's available to us. Into the Woods, Legally Blonde, those are two of my favorites of all time. Love them very much. Hello, everyone. So we have friends who are on TikTok and we have friends who are on YouTube. Hi, everyone. Hi, good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. Hello. How long have you been in musical theater? I started doing musical theater when I was probably like 5 years old. My church did a production of Peter Pan, but also like the Nativity. Do we count the church Nativity? I played a lamb, and I think that was my gateway to theater, unfortunately. Hello, everyone. Oh my god, hi. I followed you when I also played Sharpay in High School Musical. Oh my god. I love. Did you have so much fun playing her? I loved playing her. Your hair is so pretty. Thank you so much. I just saw Dan Williams. Dan Williams does Cara Rose DePietro's hair. He does Hannah Bonnet's hair. Love. Dan Williams. Dan Williams. I think they're based in Chelsea. Yeah. Hi, I'm doing a show right now in school. Congratulations. You rock. Love your content. Thank you so much. I do spam you all, so thank you all so much for being around to watch. I really appreciate that. Have you ever thought of doing or have done show choir? I loved show choir. I did um like chorus growing up. It was my school's chorus, and we did like the holiday events, and we had a gala at the end of the year. I loved chorus. I love being in an ensemble and singing really beautiful, strong, difficult harmonies. Super fun. Love that. Have you ever done professional straight plays? Great question. I did a production of Mad Forest when I was in college, and I did a production of Picnic in the spring of 2023, and it was fantastic. I love doing plays. I'd probably, if I had to one day pick between musicals and plays, this is a hot take, but today I would probably pick plays because I do love a meaty acting moment, but I have been focusing so much on my singing training that I haven't really tickled my acting muscle in a while, and I actually had to do a tape yesterday for straight acting, and it did not go very well. So I think I need to kind of squeak that wheel a little bit. I gotta, what's it called? Grease that wheel? That's the phrase. There it is. Have you ever done You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown? Because I'm doing it for my high school. You're gonna love You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Such a wonderful show. I'm sure people in this chat have also done You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. It's such a fun show. So many schools do it because it's so wholesome and sweet. And I've always wanted to play Sally Brown. I feel like that's a lot of short blonde girls' dreams, is to play that annoying little girl. I love her very much. You're gonna have a great time. Do you have any tips for doing a song without a conductor? We don't have one for my opening night. Oh my goodness. Wait, what? So, hold on. So you have a pit, but you don't have a conductor. What? That's crazy. Do you guys have monitors? Do you have a screen where you could see what's going on in the pit? What advice do you have to people who are having a hard time with rejection and don't know what to do? You are in the right place. I have been overcoming a lot of rejection recently. It's mostly been rejection. Actually, no, it's 100% been rejection this year. Um, it's really hard. My wonderful therapist, I'm going to use actually one of her quotes. She says, "You're allowed to throw yourself a pity party, but you can't set up camp." So allow yourself to be sad and frustrated and grieve, but don't, set up your tent and live in pity party land, because nobody wants to live there. And you have a lot of other auditions and opportunities that are just around the corner that you don't even know about. So allow yourself to grieve, but just know that in 2 seconds, you might have an opportunity that you're even more excited about than the one that you just lost out on. Great questions, guys. Oh my goodness. Which role did you hate doing? Ooh, that's It's a great question. What role did you hate doing? I don't know if I've ever hated a role, but I've had roles that I like when I got the cast list, I cried about it, but then I always ended up enjoying them. Like, funny enough, Cinderella, when I played a stepsister, I really wanted to play Cinderella, and I was really sad when I didn't get Cinderella, but for the better because I had way more fun playing the stepsister. But I've cried over many a cast list. When I was in high school, we did Les Mis, and I got Madame Thenardier, and I really wanted to play Fantine, but it just depends on what's right for you. And then I ended up having a blast with Thenardier. So like I feel like the worst part is always the guest list, and then no matter what happens, you always have fun. I like one of my favorite shows. I was actually in the ensemble. When I think back at like my high school experiences, one of my favorite experiences was being in the ensemble. And of course, I cried when that happened because who doesn't want to lead? But sometimes you're in the ensemble, and oh my goodness, it was so fun because everybody was. You have so much more time to bond with people. It was one of the most bonding experiences I've ever had in theater. Oh my god, hey, you're my idol. Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. I did Sharpay in summer camp and it was so fun. It's so fun. I miss her. I miss getting to play somebody who's so glamorous and so evil at the same time. It's so fun. It's kind of like Cruella de Vil. It's very fun. It's a very fun time. I'm currently a junior at OCU for MT, and I'm wondering if you have any summer stock recommendations. That is a great question. Okay, summer stock. So, personal recommendations I can give to you are Jean's Playhouse at NCCA, North Country Center for the Arts, Jean's Playhouse. It's a long title, but I believe they're doing Footloose this summer. And one other show that I can't remember right now, but Footloose is definitely one of them. They like wonderful, great step for people who are still in college. Full disclosure, and they're very upfront about it. The housing is a decommissioned ski lodge. It's bizarre, but it's really fun. If you want to do like summer camp and also get some work experience, it's a great place to be. I lived in a room with 5 girls. We lived in a room with, like, 14 bunk beds, but it was us 5 girls, and we each got our own, like, top and bottom bunk, so it was really wholesome, and, I got to do 4 shows that summer. It was, Wizard of Oz, Legally Blonde, Into the Woods, and On Golden Pond. You rehearse in a gym. It's very, like, you're gonna be sweaty, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be overworked, but in a fun way. I call it boot camp. It's really fun if that's what you're looking for. Other like summer stock experiences that I've heard good things about, like I know I've heard amazing things about the Palace, New London Barn, um, what's that one in Maine? Uh, that's a real summer camp. I'm thinking like an actual summer camp. Let me get back to you on this one in Maine where you can be a server. If anyone can think about it, it's the one that you're serving, you're lifeguard, and you also perform. It's a lot of work, but I've had a couple friends who've done that one. But A1 auditions are coming up soon. The A1s are a great place to audition for a bunch of different summer stock opportunities. That's in Norwalk, Connecticut. And then keep an eye on playbill.com. You're going to go playbill.com jobs and then just refresh that like every day at like 10, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. And people tend to like blast out a bunch of casting notices. Hello. Tips on getting lead roles. Great question. If I knew the perfect sauce for that, I would tell you. But let me say, I don't book lead roles pretty much ever. It's very, very small. Like what you see on the internet is the smallest percentage of wins. Like when you look at the numbers statistically of how many things I had to audition for to get that one role, it's minute. It's like 0.3% of the time. It's consistency. It's finding the opportunities, like being on the job sites. And when I say being on the job sites, I mean playbill.com, I mean backstage, I mean Actors Access, submitting yourself for these auditions, preparing the material properly, making sure you have a good backdrop, making sure you have good lighting, presenting yourself in the best possible way professionally, just things that can set you up for success in the best possible way, because there's no guarantee that anything is ever going to align perfectly, but there is a small chance. So why not, give it every chance that you have control over. So if I have control over memorizing a monologue, memorizing a song, getting every single pitch correctly, and making sure I look, similar to the part that I'm going out for simultaneously, that's already a win. That's you booking that audition. even if nothing comes of it then, you did your job. Yeah. What got you into theater? Great question. My sister. My sister's name is Lauren Mary Moore. She is a wonderful performer. If anyone wants to look her up online, she is an equity performer. She's played at the Ogunquit. She is just like this force to be reckoned with. She's an amazing dancer, incredible singer. Holy moly. Um, and when she was, we were at the church, they were doing Peter Pan. They asked her to do Wendy, and I was like, "Can I be in it too?" They're like, "Oh, we're only looking for a Michael, a little boy," and I'm like, "I'll play a little boy. I don't care." So that was that. Who did you play in Picnic? I played Madge. Oh, I loved Madge. Madge was a fantastic time, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up on our chat here. Alrighty. I'm currently in Urinetown. It's Tiny Tim. Any advice? Oh my goodness, you're gonna have a great time. I love Urinetown. Urinetown is such an underrated musical. Okay, hold on. Quick question, quick like moment for Urinetown. Urinetown is this hilarious musical about this dystopian future where the government controls the toilets. So there's no such thing as private sewage anymore. It is controlled by the government, and it's pretty hilarious. And it's all these people who are just like really poor and can't afford to go to the bathroom anymore. If you haven't listened to the original cast recording of Urinetown, please do yourself the favor. I think on the title, like if you go on Spotify, I'm pretty sure that the title still says, "Is this really what we're calling it?" underneath the main title. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. I'm playing Queen Maureen and In Between the Lines. Oh my goodness! And any subjections? I love you so much. Love you. Oh my god! I'll be completely honest. I actually don't know what that show is. And I was just talking to my hairdresser about that today, where we were talking about when we don't know something. It used to be a moment of what people would consider weakness, and actually, asking for knowledge is strength, and it is also an act of self-love because you are asking to educate yourself. So if you ever don't know the answer to something, know that by asking a question, you are actually giving yourself an act of self-love. Whoa! We're really diving into some deep conversations here today. Okay, so sorry guys. We're back over to YouTube. I'm also on YouTube right now if anyone wants to hop on. You can also hop on both of them. That could be fun too. Are you into theater? I'm so into theater. It's a little creepy how much I'm into theater. A little concerning how much I'm into theater. And I feel like there's so many more productions of musicals compared to plays. Yeah, there's a lot of productions of musicals, but you'd be shocked because like the first iteration of theater was plays. It was the Greek tragedies. It was we got Shakespeare. If you look at the history of theater, so much of it was ingrained in dramas. Chekhov, Stanislavski. We got a lot of like ancient texts that were for the drama, like musicals. The concept of a musical really didn't come to fruition, I think, until the 30s or 40s. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was like the impetus of the golden age. Does anybody actually know the answer to this? Was Showboat the first musical? There is one first musical, and I can never remember which one it is. I think it's Showboat. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, hello, Els. Hi, I know you were in High School Musical a while ago, but I saw you and you were awesome. Thank you so much. I love Yorktown Stage. I miss performing there. Love. La, 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 da, 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 da. What's your best advice when writing emails that just contain your resume and reels that get feedback? Great question. I think I can mentally just memorize and blurt out to you what I say these days. So I actually worked at a talent agency, and this was the formula that we used to submit clients, and now I just use it for myself. But it says, good afternoon, good morning, dear name, whatever you want to start your header in, comma, indent. Kindly reaching out in consideration for the role of, and then in quotation marks, the role, in your upcoming production of, and then you bold and you capitalize the name of the show. Attached, please find my headshot and resume, and below, please find a link to my reel. And then below, you're going to put your name / reel. You're going to bold and underline it, colon, and then you're going to add your link. Indent, and then the next line, you're going to say, please let me know if you need any other information or material. Indent. very best. Blah, blah, blah. That's kind of been the formula that I've been using for the past 2-3 years. Yeah. So use that as you will. Oh, will you go into like actual acting, like TV shows or movies, or will you stay in theater? Great question. I audition for TV and film a lot, but that style of acting is not something that I've done recently. So when I actually do kind of touch upon that art form, it feels so foreign to me right now. So I'm gonna actually just talked about this yesterday. I'm gonna be like finding a either an improv class, an acting class, acting for film. I'll be finding a course that I'm going to be taking in the spring this year to prepare myself better for TV film acting. It's just a completely different muscle. And yeah, whenever I get auditions for TV and film, I feel like I'm not prepared properly for them, like I am with theater. So we're gonna do something about that. Also, tomorrow, just while we're all here yapping, tomorrow I'm gonna be doing an audition at Juilliard to audit one of their classes. So Juilliard has this opportunity where every semester there are specific classes that somebody who's not enrolled in the school can participate in. But the class that I want to take is specifically a voice class. So regardless of if you're in the school or not, you still need to audition and show them your vocal range. So I'll be going to Juilliard tomorrow and doing my little la-ti-das and seeing what comes in there. Yeah, class. Like take class. If you ever feel like something doesn't quite click the way it used to, that's okay. You can always go grease that wheel again. There's the metaphor again. Is it easier for you to memorize lines or songs? Songs. Oh my gosh, songs. When it comes to lines or monologues when I'm in a production, I can always memorize after I've done blocking because then I can affiliate where my body, where my mind, where everything's going to be physically when I'm saying certain lines. So I can journey through these words with a physical element. And then with songs, I can do that musically. I can think about, oh, yes, this is the part where this note was hard. So I'm going to remember that that's the word that I'm going to be saying because I always hate getting to that word because I can't sing that note or something like that, you know? So I love memorizing songs and I memorize them so fast. I love that they just take you on a beautiful little journey. Do you have any tips on taking care of your voice? I'm 11 years old and I want to make sure, yes. And I want to make my singing voice better and not ruin my voice. Great question. I was hoping somebody would ask me about this. I just finished doing 14 shows in 12 days. I did this last year and I completely blew out my voice. I didn't do that this year because I took care of my voice properly. Here's everything that I did. In the morning, the first thing that I did was I drank a big cup of water with vitamin C in it because everyone was getting sick in that theater, but it's also just good vitamins. Vitamin B, just take a little chewy for that one. And vitamin D, because again, you are in a theater for a long day. Your brain and your muscles work like this. So if you're sad here and tired here because you're not seeing the sun, this is also going to be tired. It's all connected. So vitamins, number one. Number two, my nebulizer. I use a portable nebulizer with 0.9 saline. It's just one of these little like squeezy packets, and I just put it in my little nebulizer. And I would get to the theater about an hour before my show, and I would just sit and steam, and then I let my voice rest. I would go completely nonverbal for at least 15 minutes. So that's typically when I would be doing my makeup, getting in my costume, and then about 10 minutes before the show, that's when I would do my warm-ups. I would do, I have voice memos from my voice teacher. So if you ever have a lesson with your voice teacher, just kindly ask them, hi, can I record our warm-up session together so you can play it back when you're on your own? And I'd say 99.9% of the time, your teacher will say yes, because they want you to be healthy with your singing voice. And then because it's so dry and cold during the winter, I suck on a Grother's Pastille because it just keeps the mouth all like nice and lubricated. It's not going to make your singing voice crazy. Like you're not going to find out that you can hit different notes. It's just going to soothe. It feels good, especially when you're really like tacky and dry and overworked. It's really helpful for that. What is one thing? Oh, also this. I love my little water bottle. What is one thing you would tell your younger self when auditioning from a sophomore in high school? Oh, Rena, that's a great question. All right, one second. I'm going to have some water. Okay, so auditioning is the hardest part of the job for me. I know I'm not alone when I say that. A lot of people in this industry say that there are a lot of different audition anxieties that can start manifesting for different reasons. I've been having a really hard time auditioning in person. So, yeah. To be completely honest with you all, I have really, really bad anxiety, and my auditions have really been taking a toll on me in a way that they typically haven't. So I actually I talked to my doctor about maybe getting some help medically, and that's okay. And there's a lot of people in this industry that are actually getting help medically to get them through these auditions. I think right now, because you're a sophomore in high school, I think there's a couple different things that you can do to set yourself for good groundwork. Kind self talk. I know it sounds so stupid, and I know I'm not the best at it either, but gosh, am I working at it. Kind self talk, especially before an audition. Um, that self doubt that comes rushing in that Hadestown talks so much about, like everything is your internal battle. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Like if you convince yourself that you're going to mess up, that you're not good enough, that you're not talented, like those awful little nagging voices, that's already gonna, like, you're setting yourself up for failure if that's the voices that you're allowing in. And it takes time to lock those voices out, but training yourself to have positive self-talk and a good attitude going in. Okay, so mental health side apart. Preparedness. When I was in high school, I went to the same theater school over and over again, and I knew the director and the choreographer and everybody that I was going to be auditioning with, and boy, did I get comfortable. So I would show up to these auditions not even looking at the audition material that I needed to prepare for that night until I was like at the venue and just went to the bathroom and like pulled it up. And I was like, what is this? No, you have the time right now to prepare yourself in an environment that's comfortable. I hope it's a comfortable environment. That was, when you're in a repetitive environment, because moving forward, that is not going to be the case when you're in a professional environment. Every audition is mostly going to be strangers. Maybe every once in a while you'll have a friend or two at an audition, but the majority of the time you are going to be competing with absolute strangers and getting really aware of the privilege of being in a familiar environment while you can put in the work will set you up for success later. Which brings me to 3, education. Read books. This is The Actor Prepares. I have The Artist's Way, classes, like actor audition workshops. I know Open Jar right now actually has a link on their website. I think you have to be 16 and up, but they have an Open Jar workshop in February where it's audition prep, headshots. Someone will look at your resume and your website. Someone will look at your music cuts for your auditions, just to help you kind of like guide your way through this industry. There's so many question marks about auditioning. Sorry, I'm going down a major rabbit hole of auditioning, but I hope this is helpful. And get yourself a treat, always. I know some people are very anti-audition treat, but I think when you're in such a high-stress environment, if you're going to an audition and it takes 5 seconds and it wasn't, life or death, hold back. But if you prepared and you think you deserve a treat, a reward for the work that you put in, make sure you give it to yourself. Thank you. My acting teacher does some stuff with summer stock. Oh my God, awesome. Reach out to them. Your stepsister video helped me so much with my auditions, and I'm now playing Grace. Yes! I miss that girl. I miss that costume. Oh, that was one of my favorite costumes. And the makeup. Oh my gosh. The girl who played Joy, she taught me how to do that makeup because she took a class in school for clowning, and they learned how to do like clown makeup. And that's basically the makeup that we did for the show, but not like full face. Like our eyes were this crazy bright palette color. Oh my God, it was so fun. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see what we got. Do you have any tips for finding audition songs? I'm thinking about auditioning for a regional theater, but I have no idea where to start. And I love your stuff. Thank you so much. Finding material. Great question. Material comes from, for me, 2 places. One of them is my voice teacher and a class that we actually just finished with them called Level Up. My voice teacher is Jared Trudeau, and he is at Broadway Vox. Broadway Vox is a fantastic studio in New York City. If you are in college, postgraduate, it's a great place to hone your dance skills, acting skills, and voice skills. It is basically just a studio to help hone your craft. It is a beautiful environment. The teachers there are wonderful. They have everything from private structure to class structure, where you're in a small group setting and you're learning in a course structure. They have weekly classes, they have drop-in classes, you name it. They're fantastic. But the other thing that I do is Spotify. I will listen to a song that I like on Spotify and then listen to like the radio that they choose from that song, where if you liked that song, you'll also enjoy this song. So if you have one song that you enjoy singing in the musical theater canon and you want to find one that's similar, go ahead and listen to that radio. The amount of times that I found a song because of that radio and I go, oh my gosh, I should put this in my book, you'd be shocked. So finding ways to educate yourself on the music that's out there in a way that's not tedious, you know? But the basic rule of thumb is it's better to have less songs in your book that you absolutely love than a bunch of songs that you barely know and you really don't like. I'd rather you have a book with 2 songs in it that you can nail on any given day, just as long as I would love them to be contrasting if that's possible. And contrasting means that if one is like super upbeat and poppy, I want the other one to be like a ballad. I want it to contrast. Make sure it's a little different so I can feel the difference. Just in case I want to hear different parts of your voice and different types of textures that you can add to a character or a song. Yeah, love. All right, guys, what do we got? Would you do spelling bee? Yeah, love spelling bee. I need to go see it still. The conductor isn't here on opening night, so he can't cue me and I can't hear the music well. Oh my gosh, Elle. Let's talk to, why don't you bring that up to your stage manager, because maybe they can find a way to help you out there, because it's their job to make sure that you feel comfortable when you're performing. I'm currently in a BFA program for musical theater, and I'm thinking about leaning into tech. Cool. That sounds awesome. I feel like a lot of theater programs for performance actually encourage you to get a base in every other execution, or at least I would hope so. Because it's important to learn about not only the performance side of theater if you're getting BFA, but tech, wardrobe, hair and makeup. There's so many different elements to this industry. I would say maybe if you have an advisor or the head of the department, maybe you could talk to them about, what classes could you take next semester, or even this semester, that could help you understand what path you want to take. Because this is the time to test out the waters. Being in school, like, that is peak education, baby. Like, take advantage of the fact that you are going to a school, you are in a beautiful BFA program. That's incredible. That's a huge feat, by the way. Congratulations. Take advantage of the fact that you got into that program. This is your education. You have the right to make it whatever you think you need. Go discover and find out what you don't like. Find out what you do like. You've got the time and you've got the resources. Just make sure people are aware of what you are looking for. Like, the amount of times that people have told me, hey, I really think I want to do this. And all of a sudden now, every time I see an opportunity for that specific thing, I think about that person, because that person let me know that they were looking for that. So don't be afraid to speak your truth. Speak your dreams, because you'd be shocked how many people want to support you. It's crazy, but you need to let them know that you want to do that. Cast lists are crazy. Yeah, mine's coming out in a week. Do you have any ways to not go crazy over waiting? Living the crazy. No, distract yourself. Whenever I have an audition where I'm given a timeline of when I'm gonna hear, God, I get audition email crazy. I'm on callback corner. I'm refreshing my email like a maniac. I'm like, oh, did my agent maybe text me? Oh no, did I miss something? No. Distract yourself if you can. Hang out with your friends, be with family, watch a good show. There's so many good shows out right now. I'm binging Harry Potter to keep me from going on callback corner. We all have our vices. Do what you gotta do. Bake. I loved baking in high school. Hi. I know you were in High School Musical. Oh, yes, sorry. Audition tips for Sharpay. I love that girl. I basically just did the most unhinged audition of my entire life and left it all on the playing field. Like, don't hold back because Sharpay wouldn't hold back. Sharpay is just insane. And I love that people were like, wow, Sharpay is kind of like Rachel Berry. Yes, she is. But you can also choose what kind of Sharpay you wanna be. I just really loved the freedom of getting to be really unhinged. La 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 la. La 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 la. I'm a new theater kid, and I was wondering if you have any advice for me. Gabby, welcome. Welcome to being a theater kid. It's a fun time. I feel like if I could give myself advice earlier in my theater journey, theater love, it would just be to not, like, don't be embarrassed by it. I was so embarrassed by it when I was in school because I went to a school that was predominantly sports and nobody really understood my theater obsession. And sometimes I felt a little lonely, but whenever I would go to the theater school, I felt so understood. Um, yeah, let's say step one. Oops, I had tacos. Sorry. Step one is finding your community because that's what theater is really about. That's why community theater is so fun, is because it's literally just a bunch of people joining a community because of a shared interest. It's basically like being in a forever club. uh, Alrighty. Let's see. I'm your biggest fan. I do professional theater and I'm 13 and you inspire me so much. Thank you. Oh, what's Noah Flash 1675. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Ah! Oh my goodness. Okay. Tips for writing a show, trying to discern the best medium for said show, theater versus TV versus movies. Great question. Um, I'd say just get it on a page first. Like, if you have a story to tell, don't worry in the beginning so much about the medium because I think it'll tell you what it is eventually. Or so I've been told by writers that I've worked with before, is that if a character is begging to sing, it's a musical. If a character is begging for more time, it's a TV show. And if a character has, enough to give, I think it's a movie. It's it like your story will kind of lend itself to wherever it needs to go. A very vague statement to make. I'm sorry. That's just what the writers in my life have told me. Oh, la la la. Shout me out. I'm your biggest fan. I do professional theater. Noah, I got you, girl. I got you. Mwah. Hi, Moonly. Do you have any advice for getting over audition nerves? I always have major anxiety before auditions. You are not alone. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but I'll also say getting an audition room, a warm up room before your audition will be really helpful. So, also, I saw today that somebody in the industry, when you have to go to Pearl or Ripley, let's back that up for 10 seconds. Pearl Studios and Ripley Greer Studios are two of the most common audition spaces in New York City. They are on the same block, basically. So, if you ever have an audition at one and you need to hop to the other, they're right there. And then there's Open Jar Studios, which is a hop, skip, and a drum away. But Pearl and Ripley are usually right here. And somebody recommended that if you have an audition in one of the buildings, go book a warm up space in the other building, which, like, for a major call, totally understand, especially if you need to stretch, if you're a dancer. But also, if you just don't want to be seen in that environment yet because you don't feel ready, totally fair. And then go over to the other one when you're ready. Especially if you're traveling a far way, if you're traveling for your audition, I recommend getting ready at your final destination because I melt when I travel. When I have to take my hair and my makeup on the subway with me, usually I'm redoing it anyway by the time I get there. So I stopped wasting my time doing that. I get to the venue that I'm auditioning at, usually within an hour before my audition. So I can spend a half hour zhuzhing the hair, zhuzhing the makeup, and then a half hour doing a warm up, settling myself in the actual space, and making sure the monitor knows I'm there at least 15 minutes before my audition slot. At least, just in case they're running early. then you can be their savior because, maybe they get to go to dinner earlier because you were a little early and they'll love you even more because of it. You never know. You never know. All right, let's go over to TikTok. Yes, I was wondering what advice for young actors. When I when I was a little girl, when I was a little girl growing up loving theater, I don't think I realized how many resources were available to me, and I wish I studied more. And I don't mean that from like a textbook point of view. I mean that from like just doing something as simple as being curious and going to YouTube and typing in Broadway bootleg and just watching, a slime tutorial of a musical that I never would have chosen for myself. But if a musical has made it to Broadway, I bet my money on it being pretty darn good. And even if there's not a role in there for you, it would educate you on how many shows there are that are available to the general public, especially like when you think about a friend reaching out to you. Like the amount of times that I've heard a new musical and I see a new role and I go, gosh, my friend would be so good in that. And I text it to them or email it to them. And now they have a new song for their book, or now they have a new dream role because they're like, I didn't know this musical existed. This has happened to me so many times. Okay, fun story iteration that like learn from my mistakes. When I was in high school, my voice teacher assigned me the song Dear Friend from the musical She Loves Me. And at the time, there was a revival of She Loves Me on Broadway with Zachary Levi, and I did not go see that show. And it wasn't because, like, I didn't know about it. I just didn't do my homework and I didn't go see that show. And I didn't listen to the rest of the musical album and I didn't learn about the characters. I just knew that my voice teacher assigned me this song. So every time I sang it, I was kind of like, all right, here we go again with this one. Now there is a live capture of She Loves Me, and I watched it maybe a year ago because my partner loves that show. And I fell in love with that show. And I fell in love with 3 other songs that are in that show. And I fell in love with this other character that I didn't know existed. And now, whenever I sing that song, I have so much joy because I have understanding. And I think that at its core is the reason why I love it. Because we all just want to feel like we have a general understanding of what we're saying. And if you're given a song and you don't love it, let's find out if it's because you don't understand it or if it's because you actually don't love the song. Because now I love singing that song. It's a beautiful song, and now I understand the context of the story. And I've seen somebody do it who, did it very well. And now I'm like, wow, I want to be like them. Anyway. Oh, we have so many friends. I'm so sorry that I'm so behind on all of these. Okay. I just got cast in Mary Poppins. Congratulations. And I just auditioned for Pippin. Applause, applause. Any tips for musical theater girls who just aren't strong enough dancers? Hello. You can always work on it. Like, just like athletes, if you want to train for a marathon, you can also train dancing skills. It is never too late to become a stronger dancer. It is just a muscle that we don't use quite as much if you're not a dancer. And it's a lot easier for those who grew up in dance to have those foundations. And I'm currently in the pitfalls of training my body to be able to do a single pirouette, and it's very painful to watch. And it feels really disheartening, and for a while it's going to feel that way, but eventually it's going to be a lot better. It just takes some time. Takes a lot of time. I quit a show because I got ensemble. No, don't do that. No. Okay. If I can give you guys any piece of advice, it is never quit a show because you get the ensemble. There are a couple reasons why you could quit a show that I would understand, and life happens and things happen that you need to quit a show. It has happened to me before. Sometimes we just take on too much that we can handle. Sometimes life changes happen and you need to take care of those first. But quitting a show because you didn't get the role that you wanted is not a reason to quit a show. And I hope you all know that I mean this with sincerity. And like, not to say I didn't think about it when I was in high school and I got ensemble in a show. Sure, I thought about it. But if I could give you advice as, big older sister in theater, some of the best shows that I did were when I was in the ensemble because you get so much more time to bond with your cast. You're working as a team. It becomes more like sportsmanship like. Sometimes when I played leads, it was isolating because you're constantly on stage and it's a beautiful thing and it feels really cool for like your ego, but you're not really bonding with the people that you're working with quite as much. It can be quite lonely. So getting to be in the ensemble of a show is actually a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I hope if anyone's going through that consideration right now of, should I quit a show because I got the ensemble? Take a moment and see if it's because you didn't get the part that you wanted or because that show isn't going to fit with your schedule or, something like that. All right, one more on YouTube and then we'll go back over to TikTok. La 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 la. All right, what would you recommend for young actors who want to be professionals? I have an audition for Shrek on Saturday. I'm 10 and would love some tips. Congratulations. I actually just auditioned for Shrek this week too. I love that show. It's so fun. I did an audition for Gingy. I made a paper bag out of a Trader Joe's bag and I drew eyes on it. I'll probably post that sometime this week. That'll be fun. Shrek is so fun. I think the most fun part, words. Shrek is really fun because it's camp and it's crazy and it's fairy tale. Like it's elevated. It's fun. It's not of this world. So play, have fun. Shrek is one of those shows where I think you give more and they can pull you back. Give them, whatever role you want to do, give them your wildest take. And they can always say, fantastic, can you pull it back? But my director, when I was younger, would always say, like, I can't teach somebody to give me more, but I can teach them how to give me less. So give them all you got. Come out swinging, babes. I just got Paulette and Legally Blonde. Guys, I love Legally Blonde. Oh, okay, Paulette. Such a fun character. When I think of Paulette, I think of the accent. So I would love, 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 love if you would, work on the, do you know what all guys with all bad hair decisions love? I think it's a Boston. You lost without your love. Your heart is on the floor. I love that accent. I can help you. I've been there before. It's really like, huh, huh. Like you put a lot of air behind a lot of your words. It's really fun. Go listen to the way that Orpha, how she did it in the original cast recording. I love, 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 love that accent. It's really funny. Not to say, don't copy, I used to do this a lot when I was a kid, where I would mock the way that somebody would sing if I heard a song for the first time. Like when I got assigned The Simple Joys of Maidenhood as a kid, I could not sing it without a British accent because all I ever heard was Julie Andrews, where are the simple joys of maidenhood? I could only hear her cadence. So, study accent, but don't copy musicality choices, if that makes sense, or imitation. I'm stuck in the imitation world a lot. Do you have to live in New York or LA to be a successful actor? No. I actually know a couple people who are much more successful because they don't live in New York or LA because things shoot everywhere. There are TV shows that are filming and movies that are filming in the most bizarre places. I know actors who are based all over the world, and there's obviously saturation. There's a lot of opportunity in New York and LA, but sometimes they're shooting in Buffalo, New York, and they need a Buffalo, New York local. That's 8 hours north of me, babes. I am not a local. But someone is, and someone's going to get an opportunity because they are a local in that area. And I have seen that many times with many different areas of this country. So you do not have to live in New York or LA to be a successful actor. And a lot of first rounds have become self-tapes. In 2023, I think 30 in-person auditions a month. It was insane. Now I think I do 1 or 2 a month. because the first round has become so virtual now. Self-tapes, I'm also non-union, so if you are in the union, if you are an equity performer, this is so different. EPAs and ECCs are a whole other monster that I will not be tackling because I'm not a part of that. I am not equity. So if you are also non-equity, this applies to you. Usually the first round is going to be self-tapes anyway, so live where you live. It's also like, if your parents live somewhere and you can live with them in the beginning of your career, it is so helpful to have a financial backing if you do plan to eventually live in a city like LA or New York. My sister once told me, I'll never forget this, she told me $14,000 was what you needed to have in your bank account before you could move to a major city in America. And I thought she was crazy. That is probably the number I would stick by today. I would say live at home, work really hard at a job. I worked at a Starbucks. I worked at a frozen yogurt shop. I worked at a country club. I worked as a party princess. I worked as a babysitter. You name it. A bartender, a waitress, server, and just save as much as you can. And then if you want to move to a major city, feel free. But you do not have to live in one of those cities to become a successful actor. Not at all. Any advice for a girl auditioning for Newsies? Congratulations. I love Newsies. And did you guys see Kara? Kara Rose-DePetra started Newsies today. So exciting. I need to go see it. It's at the Argyle. One of our past Dwights is actually at the Argyle right now doing Annie. I wonder if that closed. Anyway. So exciting. I love Newsies. I watched the pro shot last year on Disney Plus for the first time. Like, I'm new to Newsies. Very new to it. Very fun. Let's see. Hey, Kayla, I have a callback for The Lightning Thief. Do you have any tips? Congratulations. I actually don't know The Lightning Thief. I still have so many shows that I need to educate myself on, and that's not, to put myself down at all. That's just to say a fact, a statement that there's so much to learn. I have listened to the cast recording, but not like in a way that I could educate somebody else on the show. But I do remember the music being really beautiful. But just for any audition, make sure you're prepared. If I had an audition for The Lightning Thief, I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be questioning if I know The Lightning Thief. Make sure you know what the show is and a general understanding of that. All right, let's see. My voice teacher told me that every opera singer will eventually lose their voice. Is that true? Oh my goodness, who told you that? It's true that vocal fatigue happens with age, that people, lose control of their voice just like any other muscle in your body. Like, think about your grandpa. Can he do a split? No, but maybe he could when he was younger. Things change. Your voice is going to change. When you turn about 25, your range will also change again. Not significantly, but like maybe a note or two on the top and the bottom half. But I think for opera singers, it's just a completely different structure. But musical theater artists, there are people who are singing Julie Andrews to this day. Like, your voice will change because you're it's a muscle. Things are going to change when you age. But I don't ever worry about losing my voice with age, because regardless of what comes out of my chords, I'm going to just sing anyway. I don't even care if it hurts. I love to sing. Oh, you're such an influence to me. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Molly. That's so sweet. Hello from the UK. Hello. What time is it in the UK? My goodness. Is it like 2 a.m. for you guys? Crazy. Did you guys see Hannah Lothar? Hannah Lothar is going to be in Legally Blonde. Oh, so jealous. Oh my gosh. I have to see that. I have to see that. And I have to see it on a day that Hannah's going to be playing Elle. So she plays specific dates that she's going to be on for the UK and the Ireland tour. Gives me an excuse to go to Ireland. I've never been to Ireland. That'd be so fun. All right. I'm so sorry I lost my place. I'm just going to go from what is the biggest audition you've ever done? It was, they're probably at the same level, but 2 years ago, I did an audition for the national tour of Wicked to understudy Glinda. And this fall, I did an audition for Mamma Mia. It's currently on Broadway, but it's technically a national tour making a Broadway stop. So I was auditioning for the leg that's going to become a national tour, but it was still like considered a Broadway audition. I don't know. It's a confusing time for these tours that are making Broadway stops. It's so productions don't have to pay their actors Broadway salaries, which is a whole other conversation that we got to get into at some point. Mm. I just took my first acting class. I was so excited since I want to learn how to do it better since I am mostly an ensemble with like 3 lines. That's how it goes. Classes are a fantastic place to iron out some skills and to get more comfortable. But it's a vulnerable place. Classes are always a really vulnerable place for me because you're going in knowing that there's something that you need to work on. And I think it's very human to be afraid of not knowing how to do something. It makes you feel a little helpless. And I think that's one of the most vulnerable and scary feelings that a human can have. But being open to the idea that at the end of the day, you're going to feel more confident in that execution is what keeps you going. And also the joy of getting the opportunity to learn. Such an important thing, yes. Hey girl, I'm a big fan of you. Do you have any tips on how to broaden your vocal range? Sorry, I'm very tired. Broaden your vocal range. My voice teacher and I have been working on this for 2 years now. And basically, what I can afford right now is once a month. Ideally, I'd like to be doing it twice a month. That will be my goal for next year, where we work on stretching. Just like if you are a gymnast, you're going to have stretching classes. If you're a dancer, you're going to have stretching classes, where the entire class is just about stretching your body so that if you can do 3/4 of a split, that you'll do a full split in like a year. You're not going to do it next week. But if you work on it every single day, you can go from this to this. And just like with, your vocal range, you're not going to go from being a mezzo to a soprano in a week. You're also probably not going to be able to do that in your lifetime, but you can get your range from maybe like a limitation of, from let's say like an F3 to an E6 to maybe like 2 or 3 notes on each spectrum. Maybe you can, and I mean like half steps, because like your range is also something that's determined by your physiological makeup, how long you've already been singing, so how, the structure of your muscles to begin with, just like a dancer. So if you're a baby and you're put into the splits and every week for the rest of your life you're in a class where you're doing the splits, that's not going to go anywhere. But right now, I've never been able to do a split in my life, and every time I'm in yoga class and I'm working on the splits, you better bet my booty ain't touching the ground. But every week I get a little bit closer, and that's kind of like how your vocal range will work too. And I don't mean hurt yourself. I don't mean go to the end of your range every day and just keep trying to hit the next note. Don't do that. That's going to hurt yourself. Just keep stretching it. Stretch to the end of your range and stop when you hit the end, because eventually it'll feel comfortable to hit that high. And then you'll be able to, both ways. If you have a voice teacher, talk to them about wanting to expand your range. You can say that that's going to be your goal for the year. Oh, I forgot I have a candle burning. Oops. Any tips for dance calls for drama school auditions? Dance auditions for drama school. That's, if I had to, like, that is one of those things that nobody could pay me to do again. And bless you all who are going through that this year. If you are about to go to Unifieds, if you're about to do college audition dance calls, try your best to think about it as a workshop or a class where you're going to just have as much fun as you possibly can, because it's not heart surgery. You could be studying for the LSATs. You could be like, there's so many other iterations of this world that you could be studying, but you chose to do performance, and it's supposed to be whimsical and fun. And I wish I could have told myself that this is supposed to be fun, because it felt like war when I was in dance calls for musical theater schools. It was also because dance was my I was my least confident portion of the audition because there's the acting portion, the singing portion, and the dance portion. And I was just surrounded by all these dancers who were beautiful, trained ballerinas, and that just wasn't who I was. And that's okay. That's okay. Because what you might not know is that the ballerina standing next to you just came from their singing audition, and that made them want to vomit. And they feel awful right now. And they're supposed to be enjoying the thing that they love doing, but they can't because they just came from the portion of their audition that made them feel the most scared. Everybody going into that room is going to be having a tough day. It might not be like sad hard. It might be like difficult in a way that's a challenge and they're excited about it, but it's going to be a tough day. So try your best to think about where everyone is like kind of coming from that day and that you're not alone in wherever you are at when you enter that room. You're honest together once you know that you are. You're all stars and we see that. I've only had a few voice lessons too. I just recently, oh, my live will end. No, don't do that. Never mind. I'll probably end the live in about 20 minutes. I have an audition tomorrow. My voice is getting a little tired from all this yapping because I haven't yapped today. I've only had a few voice lessons too. I just recently started doing that stuff because I realized I love doing theater. Congratulations. It's important. It's important to like acknowledge, like coming to terms with the fact that you love theater is like step one theater. Like know that you're meant to be here and it's really fun. I'm auditioning for Adam's Family for spring musicals, and I'm auditioning for for Alice, and I have to sing Waiting, and I'm kind of worried for my voice. You're not alone. You're not alone. When you have an audition for a song that, it might be new or it might be in a weird part of your vocal range or something that you love singing and you're worried about it going in the room because someone has heard this song a million times, it's, yeah. Okay, Adam's Family, so fun. Such a fun show. Again, like campy, fun, like on the same plane as Shrek. Have fun doing it. Give them more and they can always pull you back. If you have the time, I see it's for your spring musical. If you have the time to see a voice teacher or even your chorus teacher, or a friend, even if you trust that friend, you can sing that song for them and they can give you some notes. But I'd recommend a teacher if you have the time and the availability to do something like that. I would love to go to school for musical theater. What's the best advice for college auditioning? Great question. College auditions are a really challenging time for any high school student, and everybody's going to be starting from a different plane. Some people are going to be coming from performing arts high schools. Some people are not. Some people are going to be coming from, children's theater programs. Some people are going to be coming from boarding schools that are performance arts boarding schools. Like, you just don't know who's going to be in that room with you, who you're going to be up against. So, okay, let's just say step one. I want you to go through the list of schools. I know Playbill releases a list of schools every year, but you can also just look up musical theater schools in America, and you can go to their page, and you're going to look up the classes that you would be taking at their schools. And you can see if that's something that would bring you joy. For those who don't know, musical theater programs in America, specifically the BFA musical theater program in America, is considered a quick pipeline to Broadway. Specifically, schools like Michigan, Carnegie Mellon, CCM, which is Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, BOCO, Boston Conservatory, Penn State. I feel like those are usually the heavy hitters of people that you see on Broadway and in their bio. Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma. Like if you see a bio that says like went to this school, a lot of these schools have huge success rates with their alumna going to college, going to Broadway, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to go to Broadway. And I think that's something that people lose sight of. So I know a lot of people who graduated from one of those schools and their entire class was out one night and not a single one of them was booking. And they were all so frustrated because they felt like they had, kind of been bamboozled. But they also weren't fighting as much as they should have been because they had kind of been given this false expectation that it was just going to be given to them. Yes, you're given these opportunities, but it's not that you're going to be handed on a silver platter this Broadway contract. You're still going to have to work for it. But there's so many musical theater programs, if you're looking at schools in America, that are less known that also have fantastic programs. I am talking with a school about potentially spearheading a program to help educate people on musical theater programs in this country and kind of preparing people for college auditions. I'm going to keep you guys posted on that. But for now, there's a nonprofit that I worked for recently called Statement Arts. If you go to statementarts.org, I think, there is a section where they actually have monologue prep. They have a program where people can audition for college prep courses. So you can actually have somebody help guide you through the college audition process. It's called Statement Arts. Yeah. But if I find any more resources for you guys about the current like theater prep, think about also reaching out to schools. Like I know for a fact that Penn State and Michigan do summer programs. So there are some colleges that you can audition for a preparatory summer with them. I think your junior year of high school. And that is something that I didn't know about when I was auditioning. I wish somebody told me about that. Like a lot of these schools will offer a summer where you come live in the dorms and you get to do mock auditions and you get to, take classes with their professors and kind of get a taste of what their program would be like, because maybe you find out that's not the program you want, or you find out that you really love that program and now at least the faculty have met you before. And that's a really cool in. Whew, so much to be said about musical theater in America and the pipeline of Broadway. Over the spring, I want to start acting professionally. How can I do this as a teenager? Great question. So, community theater, school programs, drama classes, drama clubs. And let me tell you, if your school doesn't have a drama club or a theater program, you can start one. Like, I wish I understood the term of like autonomy when I was younger, that the world is truly what you make of it. And if you don't see an opportunity for something that you would like an opportunity in, you can create it. You truly can. And anything, like, gosh, there's so many things that we have control over that we don't realize because we think, like, well, only this kind of person could do something like that. Do it. And then you're going to find plays like I love The Crucible, The Laramie Project, Our Town, Angels in America, like these Fun Home, these plays that I read when I was in school that were kind of like the spark of, gosh, I love plays. Death of a Salesman. I loved Picnic. That was a new one for me. William Ing, great play. And I'm seeing a lot of schools actually do Picnic, which is pretty crazy because it's kind of a saucy play, but it's really beautiful. How did you study dance? Great question. I currently study dance at Steps on Broadway, which is on 74th, something like that. It's in the city, and it's one of these like drop-in class situations where I pay $25 a class, and I kind of just figure it out the week of. Ideally, I'd like to be in a course structure where like every Tuesday at 3:00, I'm in a dance class or something like that, but we'll figure that out. My schedule's a little less hectic. I was just going to be missing too many. I just got Rizzo in Greece. I know you were in Greece. Any tips? Have so much fun. Greece is such a wacky, wackadoodle show. It's so bizarre and funny and charactery. And Rizzo is just bitter. It's so funny. Rizzo is just a bitter little bean. But deep down, she's got a lot of insecurities. And that's why she's always so boy crazy, is because she just wants validation. That's truly why we all love Rizzo, even though she's so mean. Is the reason that like everybody's still friends with her is because they understand why she's so bitter and mean. Is because she is a nice person, but too many people bit her or burnt her. That now she's the way she is, but deep down they know where it came from. Hey Kayla, I love you so much. You're a big inspiration. I have a callback tomorrow. Do you have any tips for that? Congratulations. For callbacks, typically they provide you with sides, a song, maybe some dance material. So if you have any material that you can prep tonight before you go to bed, go ahead and read over all those sides, listen to the songs, watch the video. But don't, try not to obsess over it, but prepare yourself for it. Um, I love when I'm given material ahead of time so that I can prepare myself properly, if that makes sense. So when you're in the room, it can be a little overwhelming, but if you have the time to prepare as much as you can. All right, guys, I'm gonna start wrapping up. I am just a little pooped. I'll do one more on both TikTok and YouTube, and then we'll call it a night. I have 2 shows right now. I'm doing Ellen Legally Blonde and Ladybug and James and the Giant Peach. Any tips on vocal and body health? Great question, Sarah. Okay, so when you're doing 2 shows at once, bless ya. I hope you are taking care of yourself. Like silly little things like eating a proper meal, and I truly mean that. Things like, chicken fingers and fries and pizza, that's going to make you feel really lethargic. And you're already going to be at such a lack of energy because of the demand of those 2 shows that it's important to fuel your body properly. So that means carbohydrates, that means protein, it means vegetables to get those vitamins in you so that you don't get sick because you got 2 shows going on. You want to make sure you're feeding your body and your brain properly. Stretching. I think if you have time to do a quick little run or a quick little, like some crunches and some push-ups just to get your heart rate up a little bit, it kind of warms up your body for the day. But if you don't have time to do some cardio, and I'm talking like 5-10 minutes of like your heart rate being slightly elevated, it's just good for you. Then just stretch out your body. And it sounds so simple, but like touch your toes, spread out and fold over and do some child's poses and some downward dogs. Like yoga has become such a big proponent to like my recovery phase of doing shows. Especially like as performers, we hold a lot of tension in our bodies when we're performing. So finding a way to release that all. And having like a fun routine with like once you are done with your rehearsals and your performances, a wind down routine, and it can be as simple as having a glass of tea. It can be reading 5 pages in a book, but just some way to kind of calm your mind and your body from going from a high elevated situation to bedtime because your brain needs time to recover too. All right, and our last one we are on YouTube. How do you, I think we did this one already. Sorry. I went through so many of these. I think I accidentally scrolled up too high. La 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 la. I like this one. This is silly. And it's so true. How do you get over post-show depression? What a blessing to be sad that a show is over. Winnie the Pooh. It's this quote that says, like, how beautiful is it to love something that hurts so much to lose? Like, it's such a beautiful thing to enjoy something so much that it causes heartbreak. It could be people, it can be shows. Like, the fact that there is loss means that there was love. And like, allow yourself to enjoy the memories, the photos. Like, anytime I have a really special cast or show, I find mementos. So maybe like the plaque on my dressing room counter or a flower that fell off a prop, I'll like put that in my bag. A photo with the cast. I have some of them like that I printed out on a little 4x6, and I used to have them on my mirror. Just ways to like honor the memory of the production and the people. Congratulations on having a project that was so beautiful that it hurts to lose. That's always the memory, is that like loss can also be a privilege because it's a reminder that we love. All right, everybody, on that note, I'm going to be heading off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to try to do more of these. I feel like it's so important to educate on theater, and I hope you all feel a little less alone tonight in some questions that you have. And I'll try to do more of these. So if you have more questions, you can ask them too. All right. Love you all dearly. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night, TikTok. Good night, YouTube. All right. Goodbye, YouTube. And goodbye, TikTok.